This video compilation will take you through the basic theory of Yagi Uda antenna to my homebrewing projects of VHF, UHF and dual bander Moxon Yagi antennas, aiming mainly at working low Earth orbit amateur radio satellites. These antennas can of course be used for terrestrial, simplex and repeater operations as well. Yagi Uda antenna is often called just a Yagi antenna. It was invented in 1926 and consisted of a driven element, a reflector behind the driven element and directors in front of the driven element. In case of amateur radio, ham radio, the driven element is connected to the transceiver. Yagi antenna was a common sight on rooftops of houses earlier when they were used to receive television stations before cable and satellite TV became popular. Reflector and directors are called parasitic elements. Reflector is usually 5% longer than the driven element, while directors are shorter. Yagi antenna has a much higher gain and directivity than a simple dipole antenna. Gain is usually about 10 dB. Gain increases as the number of directors increase in a decremental fashion. Reflector can give a gain of about 5 dB, while directors can add 1 dB and lesser. The interlinking rod is called as boom. Yagi Uda antenna is very popular in amateur radio or ham radio. It is also a common sight on housetops before the era of cable TV and satellite TV. It consists of a driven element and a variable number of parasitic elements on a boom. The driven element could be usual dipole or a folded dipole. Element behind the driven element is the reflector. Elements in front of the driven element are called directors. Typically, the reflector is longer than the driven element, while directors are progressively shorter than the driven element. Output of the radio is fed only to the driven element. Animation illustrates how a 4-element Yagi Uda antenna works. There are 2 directors and a reflector in addition to the driven element dipole. The parasitic elements act as resonators by absorbing and re-radiating the electromagnetic waves from the driven element with a phase difference. There is constructive